Do you agree with him saying that Atlanta has the best rappers of all time, just based off cumulative the number of artists they have and the creativity and everything that they put out?
No, I probably don't agree. Just based on my personal preference, I would probably say that probably most of my favorite rappers are actually from, I don't know, they're all over the damn place, but I wouldn't say they're all. I wouldn't say they're all from Atlanta. Actually, very few of them are actually from Atlanta. If I'm gonna be real, like Andre's up there for me, you know, Killer Mike's up there, but you know, Big Boy, but. I'm not going to put 21 Savage in there or any of the Quality Control guys or any, you know, like if they're even from Atlanta. You know, I'm not going to put Gucci in there. I hear you now. I'm not going to put Waka in there. You know, like, I'm not going to put T.I. in there, you know, personally. So I don't know. I would
disagree with that T.I.
Nah, I'm cool off T.I. I mean, he's all right.
Cool off T.I.
Yeah, I'm not
disagree with that.
You can disagree all you want. I'm just not a fan of them. So it's just. But if you know, are we talking about commercial success or are we talking about like skills and shit? You know, if we're gonna do that, then we can go look at our top, you know, 154 rappers and see how many Atlanta rappers are in our top 50. You know, so which maybe I'll bring up, but.
Fair.
Yeah, for me, I mean, you can't take anything away from Atlanta, but personally, like, as far as skill and talent, I'm kind of cool, personally.
All right, Diff, you ready to answer now? You good to go, brother?
Yeah, I'm good. I didn't even know you can hear me.
Yeah, it's all good.
Talking.
It's all good. Talk to me.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, the obvious is that it's all subjective. You know what I'm saying? But I will say, there was a point in time where Atlanta had the least amount of artists, and the best artist at the time was still Outkast, in my honest opinion, even when they were the only ones representing for Atlanta. But I can't say that Atlanta has the greatest or best rappers. I can say they do have the best swag, so to speak. They right now they definitely have a lot of where the culture is pulling from, because you have artists that are trying to sound like they're from Atlanta at this day and time. So even like New York. So when you bring up New York, their biggest artist right now, well, now I would probably say is West Side Gun and that whole camp. Conway, Bun. Well, I'm just saying, in my personal opinion, that's the best out of New York as far as new up and coming. But
and that's New York State.
As far as on the mainstream, they're not the ones that are getting the propers. And we've talked about this in the past. I mean, I think A Boogie with the Hoodie is, and what's my guy, Pop Smoke.
Yeah.
God rest his soul. I mean, he's not coming out with any more new material, unfortunately. But I mean, A Boogie with the Hoodie is probably the most recent popular New York artist, I would probably say, that has radio play or whatnot. But yeah, I don't think Atlanta definitely has a nice mix of talent. They have really good artists, but I wouldn't say that they have the best artists overall out of like everything going on right now.
Yeah,
more jump in here.
Well, it shouts to the chat. Naughty Pie threw out the JID. You know, JID and Earth Gang, obviously they're all dope, and there's a handful of dope artists from Atlanta as well. But I'm looking at our rankings right here, and I think we only have like 3 or 4 Atlanta artists in our top 50. So that's just what it is. Anyways.
Yeah, shout out to the chat. That's a good point. JID is nice. More jump in here real quick and save us a little a room for Mike. I want to get Mike in there as well, but go ahead, brother.
Well, I looked it up, and Vince Staples is 27 years old. So if being that age, he's seen Atlanta just dominate for a good portion of his formative years and now into his adult life. Right. There have been times where Jay was out, or or I guess Nicki had her run, but Atlanta has been relentless, whether it be the underground or mainstream club music. Since Outkast hit, then Goody Mob, and then I mean there was some crap in there too, when they went through that whole snap period, but then Jeezy and T.I. have their run, Gucci Mane has his run, and what's really dope about Atlanta, Killer Mike, has his run, is that there's such a variety in Atlanta. Everyone says, oh, well, people are trying to sound like Atlanta. Well, what Atlanta are you talking about? Are you talking about that Atlanta that gave you essentially soul music in the form of hip hop? Are you talking about the very indulgent club music? Are you talking about, the conscious kind of political Atlanta rap? Like Atlanta, is so much variety. I mean, you can say that for any city. I mean, but when we're talking about Atlanta and you're talking about somebody who's 27 years old, he's gotten everything from Atlanta. The fact that, Killer Mike and Young Thug were produced by the same city, is pretty incredible.
There's a lot.
So, it's a thing where, like I said, it's about perspective. It's about your personal interaction with music. If you're, like I said, if you're Vince Staples, an old school, I went through a whole bunch of old rap videos today because once again, we're on lockdown. I try to have as little interaction and go outside as little as possible. But, so I've really basically gotten to the all the way through YouTube almost. But to somebody like Vince Staples, old school is 50 Cent, Get Rich or Die Trying, or trap music, so it is about perspective. But at the same time, like I don't know if we really went too deep into this, but when you talk about 50 Cent going up against T.I., if you're once you get outside of the Northeast and like the tri-state area of New York, there's no way 50 Cent beats T.I. Between especially in these versus battles, you're able to play guest verses. I mean, and outside of Get Rich or Die Trying, which is an incredible record to me, once again very subjective. T.I. has probably, out of his first 5 or 6 records, at least what I would consider there's probably 2 or 3 classics in there.
Be clear, T.I.'s first album, I mean,
Impact, Trap Music, and King, like those records
got in his pocket.
way
but
better
50,
than you
50 Cent's first album. T.I. doesn't have an album that's close to that first album. Get Rich or Die Trying.
That's right.
Yeah, he does actually. I mean,
not to me.
T.I. is he has at least 3 classics, I would say.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine. But what I'm saying
At least
is,
3.
I don't think,
as far as doing numbers, like when nobody was
top to bottom.
anticipating T.I. like people were anticipating 50 Cent. 50 Cent had the advantage of kind of running the underground rap shit for a minute. Was co-signed by Eminem and Dr. Dre. So he was bubbling. He was bubbling.
He had a better.
It was one of the most anticipated albums, next probably Doggy Style, in terms of
he had a better
artist coming out.
Battery is back. I get it. Like I get that. I'm just saying what I say that to say. I still don't think he has an album. Shout out to my man Jesse, because we used to talk about I'm serious all the time. But I don't think he has an album that's close to Get Rich or Die Trying top to bottom. But I'm saying after that, where you can make the argument and say, okay, if they were to go to verses, it would be tough because Tip has a nice catalog. 50 Cent's catalog hit a peak at Apex, and then it kind of damn near fell off the cliff, in my opinion. So
yeah, he took a different route. But I will tell you something that they both have in common. They both bodied somebody out of being able to rap on the forefront. T.I. with Lil Flip and 50 doing it to Ja Rule.
That's fair. Think about
so
that.
I understand the comparison as far as that's concerned. You can't really bring up many rappers that really just dog somebody out of the game bad like those two did.
Lil Flip had one with Flip. Game Over. I'm sorry, but after that, man, it got real rough out there in them streets. So
Yeah, I'm still
you
rock
make a
with
good
that
point.
track, but him trying to come at T.I. was probably the worst thing he could have did to his career.
I'm with you.
Well, also the lyric, "I treat you like milk, I do nothing but spoil you." I was done with Lil Flip after that. Why that lyric? And that song was a hit. Well, something about that just I was like, nah, man.
The song was a hit though. I ain't gonna front. Red August, are you in here? I think I got you on the purple squares, but are you still in here?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, I got you. All right, so wrap this one up for us, bro. I know we went around everybody, but wrap this one up for us, bro. What's your opinion on this one?
Yeah, man. Like, I think dude's mad weird. Like, coming from California, like, you have people in your own backyard who you would consider like some of the greatest like rappers of all time, and he just skipped right over that. I think that a lot of people mistake like who has the most influence over who's the better rapper. And I definitely think Atlanta has had a lot of influence ever since, like Jay Morris said, since in his age group. Like they just been kind of coming up and like with style, cadence and music trends and stuff like that. Like Atlanta has been kind of running it that way, but to say that they have the best rappers of all time, can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, but to say they have the best rappers of all time, that's a stretch. He's reaching a little bit.
I just think he's thinking. I think he's going cumulative more than skill. I think this is more of a cumulative argument. Like they put out a lot of artists that have had a lot of success versus, if you want to talk about skill for skill, it's going to be hard to beat New York when you list all the artists top to bottom. If you want to go state for state. Now, California, on the other hand, might, they might have something to say too, because there's a lot of dope artists from California.
California definitely has something to say. Like
they would have something to say as well, but it's gonna be tough to beat New York if we're talking from a rap standpoint. But I see where he's coming from. I think I'm gonna disagree though. But